listen to Coach Sippis there, and then, it's the great start they've had, and you look at what's going on with the football team and with both of our soccer teams and our hockey teams and cross country teams, and wow, it's certainly a fun time to be a Badger. We've got we've got Illinois, a big match coming up in front of us that's on Friday against a team that's above us in the standings, and so we'll get back to practice today and try to put all of our attention to a really, really good Illini team.
Take questions for Coach Sheffield. Brian.
Is this kind of an instance where rankings really mean absolutely nothing because they're not ranked and they're ahead of you in the standings? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's you watch them play, and I'm not sure why that is. This is the first year in a long time that I've not been a voter, so I haven't paid a real close attention to what's going on across the country. But you watch them play, and the talent is certainly up there, and they've got some great experience. I think getting their libero back has really helped. They've got a setter that is as good as anybody in the country, a middle that might be as good of a blocker as anybody in the country. Their outsides are doing a really good job. They've got a new coach that has certainly installed some energy and enthusiasm. That the players are playing with. Why they're not ranked, I have no idea. But certainly when you watch them play, you're certainly understanding of why they're winning a lot of matches this season.
Dan?
Can you talk about their blocking? They lead the Big Ten in blocks, and Bastianelli is obviously the best blocker in the Big Ten. What's going to take to get around her?
Yeah. They've got a system that they're very good at. She's got the mentality that she's trying to stuff every single ball. I love that mentality with blockers. I love watching her because it's almost you're almost offending her by, she's offended if she's not getting a stop block. And some people are they go through the motions and they go lateral and they just stick their hands up there. And, she's going up there with the mentality that's fantastic. I think Poulter, their setter, is a really, really good blocker for a setter, and but they don't. There's not a lot of scheme blocking. There's not a lot of one-on-ones. They're getting four hands on into space an awful lot, and they're finishing their blocks. Just a sound system.
Brian.
Was defense the difference against Purdue? I saw they hit over 300, or what led to the loss, I guess, in West Lafayette?
We need to get all of our players playing well, and we certainly didn't have that. Our ball control was an issue in some of our rotations, and that made it really difficult to side out. But yeah, that. They've got some kids that are just playing at a really high level. You go back and you're watching the film and you're watching, Danielle Catino, and there's blocks that she's literally, her armpits are over the net, and when she's blocking and she's hitting at a contact point that our blockers were a non-factor on quite a few of those swings. They weren't up into space. At a height that she was attacking, and so now she's going up there, and it's just her versus the backcourt. One of the things that earlier on in her career, you very predictable the areas that she was hitting, and so you stick a defender into those areas, but she's hitting with more range. Atkinson was going up and over our left side blockers. And then Stahl just played at a really high level, and she's a kid that's been a little bit hit or miss offensively. She was really, really solid this weekend in her ball control. I'm not sure if anybody in the conference has improved as much from a ball control standpoint as she did, but it's I'm not. I think our blocking schemes were solid. It was just a fact that they've got some talented players that were just playing really well.
Diane.
Final road trip this weekend, and it's kind of a different one with a day off before you have to play Northwestern. How do you kind of prepare, for that extra day that the team will have?
The Friday Sunday is probably it's a nice deal. It allows you to put all of your attention on your first opponent, and then you get a day to kind of go through some things that to put your attention there. So we'll travel to Northwestern. We'll get a practice in. We'll watch some film sessions. We'll probably do some type of since we're away from campus and all together, some type of something together as a team to kind of enjoy being around each other. And but yeah, it gives you a little bit more time to prep for that second match, certainly.
Brian?
Said you need to get all your players playing well. Are you close to that, do you believe, Kelly?
I hope so. We're running out of time. It's it's a team like Purdue can do that to you, though. You sit back here and you're like, man, there would have been nice to do this. We could have done this. There were some other things, some great positives that came out of the match. I thought Madison Duello was fantastic. Maybe we didn't get her the ball enough. I thought our middles got some really good swings against a pretty big block in a block that was for most of the match was committing on them. Emmy Dodge continues to get better and better. I think she has improved as much as anybody throughout the course of our season, and that was certainly nice. But yeah, you go back and you watch and you pull out a few things that we probably could and should have done a little bit better, but that's certainly not to take anything away from Purdue. They play the way that they did this past weekend. I'm not sure there's anybody that's going to beat them. I mean, they played, anybody who was at that gym and see how they were going about it or watch the match from the night before, they're playing at a really high level. We got a team that is very physical, that has some experience at some key positions, that was playing at the height of their game. And certainly there were some things that we could have done and should have done a little bit better, but that's certainly not taking anything away from a team that's playing pretty well right now.